The United States Armed Forces completed their withdrawal from Afghanistan on 30th of August 2021, marking the end of the 2001-2021 war. The war had begun when an international military coalition led by the United States launched an invasion of Afghanistan, toppling the Taliban-ruled Islamic Emirate and establishing the internationally recognized Islamic Republic 3 years later. The armed conflict ultimately ended with the 2021 Taliban offensive, which overthrew the Islamic Republic and re-established the Islamic Emirate. It was the longest war in the military history of the United States, surpassing the length of the Vietnam War from 1955 to 1975 by approximately 6 months. Now, over 2 years after US troop withdrawal from Afghanistan, reports say the country is heading towards a civil war. A former Afghanistan commander has said that the Taliban is now riddled with factionalism and the country is fast becoming a safe haven for foreign terrorists. I believe that the situation in Afghanistan is very critical and dangerous, and it's going in a dangerous direction, which could be a civil war again, or which could be a split to Afghanistan. Because you see that in the last 2 years, Afghanistan has been controlled by terrorists and it has fallen into terrorist hands. These are the words of Lieutenant General Hibatullah Alizai, who was Chief of Staff for the army at the time the capital city of Kabul fell into the Taliban in August 2021. Alizai currently lives in the US and has recently launched an initiative to unite Afghans outside the country. Expressing his deep dissatisfaction over the current situation in Afghanistan, the former Afghan commander blames the Biden administration for abruptly leaving Afghanistan and its people at the mercy of the Taliban. The number of terrorist organizations in Afghanistan has expanded during the Taliban regime, he said. Even African terrorist groups like Al-Shabaab have reportedly established a foothold in Afghanistan and they have started training its militants, he alleged. And everything is happening under the rule of the Taliban in Afghanistan. This is the situation. Al-Qaeda is active. Daesh is getting more and more active, and a lot of resistance groups are being announced and established against the Taliban regime in different parts, which will, of course, lead Afghanistan to another serious civil war or possible split of Afghanistan. Afghanistan under the Taliban is headed to become a safe haven for terrorists, Al-Zai said. According to him, the Biden administration made a big mistake at that time, or especially Biden himself. He had the opportunity to collect more information about Afghanistan and a little bit more deep dive into the situation in Afghanistan. But the decision was so prompt, so quickly done, even without thinking deeply about the current situation that's going on in Afghanistan. Alizai, a native of Helmand province, fears that Afghanistan is going to be worse than even before 2001. As the Chief of General Staff for the Afghanistan Ministry of Defense from August 11 to 15, Alizai provided critical leadership to manage the crisis during his position as Chief of General Staff. He continued to lead from Hamid Karzai International Airport, supporting evacuation efforts until the US military airlift ceased. According to Alizai, the Taliban don't control the entire country and the Taliban are in a worse position. There are 4 factions in Taliban: Kandhari Taliban, Helmandi Taliban, Haqqani group, and those that went to Doha and did the negotiations with the US. Everyone is claiming power, and some of the groups inside Taliban are not happy with the decisions that Mullah Hibatullah Akhundzada is taking and how he is personalizing everything for himself and just his own circle. On the other hand, most of the Helmandi Taliban have been killed in the last 2 years. The infighting within the Taliban is giving Daesh a chance to expand its foothold inside Afghanistan. Under new Taliban regime, Afghanistan's humanitarian situation has deteriorated markedly, with women bearing the brunt of the decline. India has adopted a cautious approach in its dealings with the Taliban. India continues to provide aid and is monitoring its disbursal through a technical team that has been stationed in Kabul since June 2022. India doesn't officially recognize the Taliban regime but has engaged with the group. Now the question is what all India can and will do to help the people of Afghanistan and prevent the country from falling into the hands of terrorists. World leaders may also be eager to know what India will be doing in the context of the present situation in Afghanistan.